What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Sweat and Iron. I am Graham, your host, and in this episode, I am bringing to you a guy that I work with just about every day. His name is Dr. Keeney, and he is a pathologist at my hospital. And we get into what a pathologist is, first of all, because some people are just like, what does a pathologist do? What does it take to become a pathologist? He goes over that. We discuss that a little bit, and we cover we talk a little bit about our work a little bit, and we also talk about his home gym, when how long he's been working out, stuff like that. And he has built his gym piece by piece. His wife has let him do it, taken over the basement. He works out while his kids are down there. And I took it upon myself to invite him onto the show so we could discuss all this. And I also gave it a little bit of a twist. We talk about the fashion of gym wear over the past, I think I went back 30 years. So we went back to the 80s. We covered the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and current day fashion. So without further ado, enjoy the show. I mean, what is it? Does it start out and it gets all patchy?
Yeah, I look clean shaven, but I usually only shave like once a month. I have. Yeah, it's just I have some sort of medical condition that.
Oh, you do? We're not
Yes.
joking. Oh, you're being serious?
No, I'm not being serious at all.
Oh.
I just don't grow facial hair.
I'm over here joking, and I'm like, oh shit, he's actually talking. He's got a problem.
Yeah. How dare you make fun of this handicap of mine?
Oh man, what if you actually did have a handicap sticker? I mean, could somebody ask you what that's for, and you'd be like, I can't grow facial.
Yeah, I can't grow a beard, so I need to be able to get to the building faster because, for facial reasons.
I can't grow facial hair.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, how's it going? You having a good weekend?
Yeah, yep. Enjoying the first of my 3-day weekend here.
Oh, you got a 3-day weekend?
Oh yeah.
So what? You're off Monday?
Yep.
Is that just PTO day, or is it a doctor holiday because we had Doctor's Day?
Oh yeah, it is Doctor's Day. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year for Doctor's Day, we do some huge celebration.
Okay.
No, we don't. It's just one of my days off. I get random Mondays and Fridays off. It's pretty glorious.
Okay. So during this interview, you want me to call you Doc? You want me to call you Matt? You want me to call you Dr. Keeney?
And any of them.
Oh, okay. You don't care. All right. We're not at work, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to call you Doc because I always call you Doc. All right. So, So we're just going to, and you're allowed to swear on this podcast, by the way, if you want to. But if you want to stay professional, you can.
If the occasion calls for it.
If it does. Now, I know that we're going to be talking about like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I really didn't give you an agenda that we're going to stick to because I don't have one. Just like your facial hair, I don't have any agenda. So one of the first things I did want to talk about was how long have you been working out?
So I started lifting when I was about 15 years old. It started with just wanting to put on more muscle to not get picked on in high school, and then try out for the football team because if you have muscles, you can play football.
Sure. So did you?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the team, but I played it's a really tough position. I don't know. It's called sidelineman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's where you're just on the sideline and you never get in the game.
I'm like, I've never heard of this position. This must be really
it's a special
strategic
position just for me.
Hey,
And
Keeney, get over here. We're going to put you, this is called a side lineman. He's like,
yeah,
oh, really?
we're bringing up a side lineman. He's a junior. He's going to be awesome.
You're going to be killer
Um,
at your position.
yeah, but it turns out if you want to be good at football, you need to play football.
Oh.
You know, having a lot of muscle doesn't do anything for you.
So you were one of the unfortunate guys who just never got a chance to be put in the game?
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
didn't. I didn't start playing football till I was a junior in high school, and everybody on the team had been playing together for years. And so to have
Preferred
no,
treatment.
yeah. Well, no, they were just better,
Oh, okay.
and
They
I
had
I
more
had
talent.
yeah, and I had no concept of the game really. Like
I see.
quarterback, fortunately, was a friend of mine, and he would just he'd tell say the play, everybody would know what to do, and then he'd have to make a special stop to me and be like, "Hey, Matt, just go out and block."
Yeah.
So I was just oblivious. But anyway, it started when I was 15. My older brother, um, for I don't know what the occasion was, maybe a birthday or something, he got a flat bench, and that's how it started.
You started out with a flat bench and that was it, huh?
Yep, just a bench press.
Oh, wow. Because actually that makes a lot of sense because everybody thinks, oh, I got to do the bench press. I think it would be one of two things. It would either be bench or it would be, this is how you do a bicep curl. And then,
Yeah,
because then you get the big chest and you get the big arms, but then you have no legs.
yeah, exactly. That's how it started.
You started without legs.
Yes,
So,
just like chest and try. That's it.
when did you start getting like really serious into lifting weights then?
It was pretty much off the bat. I enjoyed it. I think I must have gotten hooked on the endorphins.
The endorphins.
Um, and then, it was, I didn't, I've never really had a set goal for weightlifting. Like I had small goals along the way. Like I want to be able to bench my weight. I want to be able to squat 250 or whatever.
Sure.
Um, but I didn't have I've never had any goals really. I
Oh,
just lift, because I enjoy it.
you
And
just like to do it because it's something that fills your time, makes you feel better, uh,
yep, like stay healthy.
makes you look good. I mean,
Right, right.
no homo, but I mean, the thing. How about this? When you were 15, what year was it?
Oh, geez, I don't know. That was 16 years ago, so 2002.
2002. Okay, so you totally bypassed the 90s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I had this whole lineup. I was going to talk to you about 90s celebrities and some. Actually, there is something I do really want to talk to you about that I think you might get a kick out of. I was talking with my wife while I was having lunch, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to talk to him about other than lifting weights? Because you can only talk about lifting weights for so long. And
Right.
then I got this idea in my head. What about fashion? And fashion in a sense of what people wore to the gym and where it's gone. And I just decided to randomly Google this, and the article is from Men's Health. And I read this to my wife, and she's like, "You got to ask about this." So, this is how your workout clothes have changed in the last 50 years. So, are you ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I have a feeling you're going to get a kick out of this. All right. So, the very first thing was in the 1960s. The coolest thing to wear was just a gray sweatshirt, mid thigh shorts, cotton
Hell,
T-shirt underneath.
hell yeah. That's my era.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm drawn to that. Yeah.
Name the company you think branded this as like the go-to. I mean, if you were to think of a company, what would be the company? Let's see if you got it right.
It's Champion.
Yeah, it was Champion.
Are you
Champion was
serious?
yeah, Champion was the one that in the 60s that was like that's all they had was like this gray sweatshirt that became their famous starter flagship was the Champion gray sweatshirt.
Yeah, they went away for a while, but they're coming back.
Yeah,
They're
they are
cool
making
again.
Champions everywhere now.
Yeah.
I bought a Champion blue what the heck, the Tech Gear jacket for running in. It wasn't too expensive, but if I was to go get one now, it's probably a lot more expensive because everybody wants champion gear now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so then what happened was not only was it cool to wear this in the gym, but it soon transitioned into, they're saying that it became the laid back gear, the lounge gear. So you not only wore it to the gym, but you'd wear it just lounging around the house, lounging around in the library. It was, hey, what are you wearing today? I'm just wearing sweatpants and this really ratty looking sweatshirt. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I wear every day. I get home, immediately change out of my professional clothes into the sweatshirt and sweatpants.
I was gonna say if you were gonna, I thought you were gonna say that that's what you wear at work, and I'm like, you do? Because you must change real fast when I walk past.
Yeah. I wish I could, but
Wish I could change that fast. So then 1970s comes along, and the 1970s transitioned into more of tennis gear look. Everybody was into the white shorts, white shirt, white shoes. Everything was white. And the brand that came, what brand shoe do you think became really famous in the 1970s for tennis?
for tennis, oh boy, I'd just be guessing Adidas.
You're right. It was Adidas. You're like,
This is amazing.
you are amazing, man. You got to go play Jeopardy. Except you got to be like, instead of it's Adidas, you got to be like, what is Adidas? So maybe you should answer the next one that way. One of the most important shoes back then was the Adidas Stan Smith shoe. It was an all-white tennis shoe, and it is still famous today. That came out in 1973. Very cool-looking shoe back then. And it would pair up with. They said not only was the tennis look good, but this is when tracksuits became the norm. Of not only would you run in tracksuits, but you'd wear it to and from gyms. You wear the tracksuits to the store. You know.
Oh man, those are dark times.
Those were dark times. Okay, so speaking of dark times, enter the 80s. Okay, so this is when it became more of a trend to wear aerobic exercise gear. Although women were shimmying into spandex bodysuits and step class, men favored tracksuits for cardio sessions and 8-minute abs. 8-minute abs.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Don't you remember that? You put the VHS in, it'd be like, you can get 8-minute abs. And then it's like, okay, well, what's on the rest of the tape?
Yeah, abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah, they are.
You can't get them in 8 minutes.
So the pieces of gear were made out of nylon, polyester, and terry cloth. NBA players and hip-hop icons had a big impact on workout styles, too. So now, you said you were 15 in 2002?
Yeah.
So then you don't remember that. You weren't around the 80s. So then, but what I remember, and you might have seen this on TV growing up maybe then, is flashback to the 80s of people wearing the crinkled nylon jackets and geometric patterned pants. And teal.
Those.
Everything was teal. Everybody had a teal shirt, teal tank top. Actually, I would say more than just teal at this point. What I remember is everybody had like a highlighter color for their shirt, for their jacket. It was like a pink or a yellow or a teal or a green. So then here come the 90s. So you'll probably remember this maybe, is tracksuits got a makeover. So they not only had the geometric pattern going on and just plain colors, but it also ranged in having, you had the 3-stripe Adidas, which is very famous.
Classic.
And then and then they put more graphics on stuff. So the most famous tracksuit in the 90s was the one in 1992 worn by the Dream Team with the Star-Spangled. It was the Star-Spangled Champion tracksuit. So it looked like they were just like a giant flag.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So also around this time was we can, of course, about Air Jordans. Everybody should know about Air Jordans. I think they're still worn today. They're like the shoe you got to have, at least when you're, in grade school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody back then was like, "Well, I got to be like Jordan." Well, you can't be like Jordan. Well, I'm going to wear his shoes, damn it. I wanted to be like Jordan, but I'm too white. I can never be like Jordan. I couldn't play
No.
basketball. I I was always told that I was an awesome rebounder, but I can never shoot 3-pointers or as good as Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got the height for it.
I do. I am
Um,
tall.
but there's a lot more to it.
There is, yeah. That's what my coaches were always telling me. They're like, except they did it the wrong way. They were like, why don't you just stand here and grab the ball, and anytime you get it, you just give it to a teammate. I'm like, what? All right, so enter the 2000s. Now we're getting more into Matt Keeney is his memory is
Yeah,
sticking around, and
this
he
is where it
knows.
begins.
Yes. So performance fabrics entered the market in the 90s. With branching into the 2000s, things became more aerodynamic, quick drying, sweat wicking
Yeah,
properties.
yeah, some
People,
dry fit.
yeah, because people were saying, everything's made out of cotton. It sticks to you when you get all sweaty. And then this fashion designer is quoted as saying it helped eliminate sweat so you didn't smell like a gym sock.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, so let's see. These weren't just for runners or weightlifters. Apparently, later on, golf started doing this. They got rid of all their heavy cotton polos and started wearing their
Yeah,
tech.
I started golfing in high school, just for fun. I sucked at that too. But I just went to Dick's Sporting Goods. Um, like to take the kids there and just walk around, look at different apparel and stuff for my home gym.
Uh-huh.
And the golf selection was just awesome. I wanted to golf just so I could wear these dry fit polos.
They're pretty cool. I've got a few
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, they're really nice.
They are really nice. Except for the white one. I bought a white polo, and I think I need to wear a shirt under it because it shows everything.
Yeah, it's a mistake. Avoid the white. Avoid the white dry fit.
Yeah.
It's a general rule. That doesn't come until like the 2010s when everybody's like, "Wait, this dry fit's great," but when you wear white,
Yeah.
terrible.
Before you started working at the hospital, I've been in the role. Let's see, I started my role back in June, July of 2017, and that's when I first started wearing, dress clothes to work. For the job, I had to wear, white shirt, tie, and either black, gray, or blue pants, and then dress
Yeah.
shoes. Well, I wasn't wearing an undershirt underneath my dress shirt, and it's the first time I bought some colored shirts. Now I stick to white shirts. I used to buy these colored shirts, but over time I found that wearing a colored shirt made it hard to get a tie to pair with it. So that's why I just stick with white. And when I wore my first white dress shirt, I went to huddle, the morning huddle, and I went to huddle, and Sal was up there, and he's just like, is it a little cold in the building, Graham? I'm like, why? What are you saying? He goes, you normally wear an undershirt under that white shirt. And I was like, well, and then next thing you know, everybody notices and they're like, oh yeah, we could see everything. And so like the whole day. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. It was great. It was funny. Okay. So 2010, the reign of, now this is where I don't understand this term athleisure. It's like they took athletic and leisure and combined the word together. I don't know if you heard that. I haven't heard it, but
I haven't heard it either.
it said starting about 2010, fitness clothes became less about the gym and more about the lifestyle that surrounds it. So instead of wearing just gym clothes at the gym, it was, I'm going to wear gym clothes no matter where I go. So if I'm going to work, I'm going to go to work in my gym clothes and change at work, or I'm just going to wear gym clothes to the store. For instance, let's see. This includes both athletic streetwear like joggers, hyper-specific performance pieces like CrossFit sneakers, which CrossFit sneakers get expensive. Why would you want to wear those outside of CrossFit?
I didn't know they had their own sneakers. Is it just Reebok? I thought Reebok was the
Let's
CrossFit
see.
company.
Let's see how old this article is. This is 2017, so As far as I know, CrossFit used to. I just did an episode on CrossFit. My understanding of it is this: that CrossFit used to have their own branded gear until the Reebok contract got signed, and then the branding went away, and it's going away.
I see.
So I guess whoever's got these CrossFit gear, they made a bad idea out of wearing them because they're probably all worn out now, and they should just like worn them for working out and then put them away in a box and been like, I'm gonna sell these bitches for money on
Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
So many of today's athletic designs favor a more minimalist look to that can go anywhere. That's interesting. They got this guy. He's wearing sweatpants with white, which looks like Adidas shoes, the ones we were talking about, a polo top, which looks like a golfing polo top, and then he's got a nice jacket on top of that. So I guess that's fancy.
It's all about the lifestyle.
So speaking of lifestyle, you're a doctor, and you are a pathologist who I work with at the hospital, and
Yes.
there's a whole bunch of you that I work with.
There's
With
9 of
you,
us.
there's 9 of you, but out of all of them, you and I hang out. Well, we don't really hang out, but we chit chat. We have more. I feel like I got more in common with you than the other pathologists. I like to joke around with the other guys, but you and I always talk about weightlifting,
Yeah.
eating, bro science, bro talk, and it's always
Yeah.
fun. And one of the things that I've always been curious about, and my wife is the first one who asked me this question, and that's what really got me thinking about it. And I thought, well, maybe other people out there are wondering it too. Being a doctor, you got to go through med school. We all know it takes quite a while to get through med school.
Yeah. It usually takes 4 years for med school.
4 years for med school. Is this on top of bachelor's degree?
Yes, that's after college. Most people, for an undergraduate degree, take 4 years. There's some people who get it done in 2, so they can get a bachelor's degree and their MD in 6 years.
So then you get your MD, but then don't you pick a specialty, or you can?
Yeah, you essentially have to practice medicine. Once you graduate from med school, you are a doctor of medicine. You have an MD, but in order to practice medicine, you have to have some sort of specialty. So, family medicine or internal medicine. Those are kind of a couple of your primary care doctors.
Then you got emergency medicine, and then
Yeah, emergency medicine, and then there's just a whole slew, everything from radiologists to oncologists to surgeons to pathologists. They're all separate specialties. So
and you
usually,
pick pathology.
yeah.
So then what is that when you go into pathology, how much, so you do the 4 years in med school, and then how many more years on top of that for the pathology?
The pathology residency is 4 years. So it's typically 4 years. Most pathologists are certified in both anatomic pathology and clinical pathology. So we call
Correct.
it APCP. So for an APCP residency, that's 4 years.
For listeners, real quick, anatomic pathology, he's talking about they're hacking up the body parts, they're looking at the slides, finding the tumors and whatnot. The clinical
Yeah.
pathology is more of the blood side, analyzing the blood, looking at the serum, getting your basic metabolic panel, your thyroid looked at, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. The bulk of what most pathologists do in a community practice is anatomic pathology. So looking at glass slides and diagnosing cancer or not cancer, in simplified terms. And clinical pathology is a lot of signing off on documents and just kind of overseeing the laboratory.
So what's
So that's a 4-year residency, but then because most pathologists have a lot of anatomic pathology work, you typically do a fellowship, like a fellowship in surgical pathology There's other subspecialties within pathology, including hematopathology, blood banking, molecular pathology, and then there's even surgical pathology subspecialties like renal pathology, gastrointestinal pathology. So just looking at one organ system or focusing on one organ system for an entire year.
What's the difference between a fellowship and residency exactly?
Fellowships are shorter and they come after residency. So for me, I graduated high school, went to 4 years of undergrad, went to 4 years of medical school, and then had a 4-year residency and a 1-year fellowship.
So with a fellowship, do you work underneath another physician, or is it like, okay, so you're working underneath a doctor, you are not by your own, you're not on your own.
No, there's some graduated responsibility, and so you're able to do some things with minimal or no oversight, but predominantly you're being everything you're doing is being checked over by a real doctor, as I say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we know that you went to school for so many years, I mean, I'm counting in my head. I'm counting 10 or
it's
more.
Like 13 years after high school. So
okay,
4 undergrad, 4 med school, that's 8, and then 4 residency, that's 12, and then 1 fellowship, that's 13.
Meanwhile, you're working out in the gym.
Yeah,
when you're not in school and studying
every day. Yeah, I do it in the mornings just because I like to get it over with. Not to say that I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy it, but it's just a part of my routine that I like to, once I'm done working out, I can focus on everything else that I have to do.
Yeah, it's not so much that you don't like you. It's not your least favorite thing to do. It's just you get it done. Boom. You don't have to worry about it now, and you got the rest of the day to get your crap done. Not that everything's crap, but so are you telling me that you've stuck to the same schedule since way back when?
Pretty much. College, I didn't have as rigid of a schedule. I'd work out in the evenings and was not always lifted before class. But once I got to medical school and I had to spend my afternoons in the library, it just became really important to get the lifting done with early on in the day.
I gotcha.
So I would get up at 5 in the morning, eat breakfast, go to the gym, go to class until noon, and then I'd go to the library until it closed at 11 p.m. So there didn't have a whole lot of free time in the afternoon.
Okay. Remind me again, you said you were 15 in what year? 2010?
Yeah, roughly 2002.
2002. 2002, I had just graduated high school, and I'm just trying to compare our ages to see.
I'm 31 years old.
You're 31. Okay, so I'm only 3 years older than you. So then, but still, I mean, 3 years, it's not that big of a difference. But when you're looking back in a timeline, though, and you're trying to remember not only the fashion, but you've also got the celebrities that were famous, I thought it would be very interesting to get your input on who you thought were the go-to, if I wanted to lift weights, if I wanted to get fit, like who pops in your mind first from when you started? Like around when you were 15, who do you recall?
No question. For me, it's Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman?
Absolutely. I've got 2 autograph photos of Ronnie Coleman hanging in my gym, in my basement. I was a huge fan of him, watched all of his videos. He's just his dedication and some of his sayings are just hilarious, and I live by them. I've got a marker board, a calendar that hangs in the weight room, and I just write, what I lifted that day, and then the 2 heaviest weights that I lifted for that muscle group.
Is Ronnie Coleman's face on that calendar?
No, his face isn't on. His photos are right next to it. But
okay.
I always have a quote written on that calendar. Sometimes my wife writes the quote. Sometimes I write the quote. This month I wrote the quote, and it's from Ronnie Coleman, and it says, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Don't no one want to lift no heavy ass weight. I'll do it though.
I'll do it though.
And
Wait a minute. So so there was a month or two ago, you were showing me, we were comparing our playlists. Remember, I was in your office and I was like, this is what I like to listen to. And you're like, well, here's my playlist. And you slid me the phone. And your profile picture was of this black guy. And
Yeah.
I was like, is that you? And he's like, yeah, that was me when I was black. Now, that was Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
I just put two and two together.
He is my weightlifting hero. And, he's got a lot of documentaries, and they're always him lifting, just an insane amount of weight. The bar is bending. You think it's going to snap. He's got muscles for miles. And then just recently, in the past couple of years, I don't know exactly when, he had released a documentary called The King. And I watched it thinking it was going to be another Ronnie Coleman documentary that, it's just him lifting crazy amounts of weight. Mm-hmm. And it shows him as a 50-some-year-old man, and he can barely walk. He's like swaying back and forth big time. He's had multiple back surgeries, hip surgeries. And when I first saw him, I was like fighting back tears. Like, this guy, he looks broken. But then he got to talking, and he's still just this extremely positive individual.
Is he still a pistol?
Still works out, like still doing more weight than I can do. And he's got, all sorts of physical excuses to not lift anymore or be upset about bodybuilding or what the sport has done to him. But he's not. He's just no excuses, committed every day. Doesn't matter what's going on around him. It's just incredible.
That's on Netflix apparently, so I'm gonna go watch it. It just came out in 2018.
It's pretty good.
So there's a little plug for the show. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Apparently, Ronnie Coleman, you say he's got muscles for miles. He has He has 26 titles with the IFBB.
Yeah, he's. I don't know all the statistics, but I think he's tied for the most Mr. Olympias with Arnold Schwarzenegger at 7, but I might be making that up.
He's 8.
8. See?
8 years in a row.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
That's amazing. Anybody else other than Ronnie Coleman?
Ronnie and Arnold. Those are the two.
It seems like Arnold is the go-to guy. He is like I can't say he's the Godfather of bodybuilding, because if you say the Godfather of bodybuilding, I think that title is given to Jack LaLanne, who's one of the very first TV fitness bodybuilder guys out there.
Yeah.
But Arnold, he brought the Arnold. Didn't he start the Arnold after?
Yeah. I mean, it's named after him. I don't know exactly how.
Right. I don't know when it started. But I just know that it, because he did Mr. Olympia as well. And what is very interesting about his win in Mr. Olympia was, how many Olympias did he win? More than one?
Arnold?
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure. I thought he had 7 or 8, the same as Ronnie, but I could be mistaken.
He won 7 times. So Ronnie Coleman has him beat by 1. So his very last Olympia win that he did, I read this a while ago. It was around the same time. It was in the 80s. And he came out, I guess he retired from the bodybuilding competition, but he decided to get back into it. And he was lifting and getting into shape for one of his roles. It was probably Predator, or no, wait. It was either Predator or what was the one? Commando.
Commando.
Oh yeah. It was probably one of those. They were around the same time, or it could have been Conan the Barbarian. Anyways, he had so many around the same time, didn't he? He was just like,
Yeah,
It
you gotta make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, it's like I got this killer body. What are we gonna do? Well, let's put some black, you know, military stuff on you and throw you into the jungle. And well, what about this one? Well, let's just put some long hair on you and give you a sword. Okay, what about this one? Let's just give you a big gun. um, okay. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I read that in that Olympia that he won, the very last one that he won, he came out of retirement, just decided to do it just because. I mean, he wanted to see if he could do it, just keep on doing it. And between filming what he was doing and training for Olympia, he still was able to win the Olympia.
Jeez, it's crazy.
Guy is a machine.
It's just dedication.
Yeah.
And he's not so much a bodybuilder, but a currently lifting inspiration would be Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne the
Oh,
Rock
of course.
Johnson. He's I just like his approach to lifting in life. And he's
Okay.
got a sweet clothing line too.
Oh, I know that he has come out with a clothing line.
Yeah,
I don't know how long
I
it's
think
been
it's
around.
Under Armour, and he has like it's like a bull or a
That's
longhorn
it.
or something that
Bull. It's a bull.
yeah, it looks pretty sweet. I don't have any of the clothes, but I'm looking to get some.
Okay, now here's a question. Do you think he uses, or do you think it's all natty?
Oh, uses like steroids?
Yeah,
I don't know. You know, he's
hard to
I
say.
don't know what is the background? Pacific Islander. He's just naturally big,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot of people who just lift consistently and look like they use steroids who really don't. Um, I know. I also know some that do or some that have.
Oh, you know,
But
some gym goers that have?
yeah, they're usually in bodybuilding. You know, they do competitions and
Right. Yeah.
they'll they do steroids from time to time.
Well, The Rock isn't a bodybuilder per se. He just gets fit so he can get these amazing roles in
Yeah,
film. And
and I think it's entirely possible that he got that way without any sort of
I think it is.
extra help.
Yeah. I was having a talk with my friend Nikki, who is into natty training. And, you know, that you've got the IFBB and then you've got is it the NS? Let's see. What's the natty side? I can't remember. Anyway, so she's on the natty side, and I was talking to her about, you know, this guy looks like he could be using roids. This guy looks like he couldn't. And she said, well, how long has he been working out? And I'm like, well, I don't know, probably 15 years or more. And she goes, if he's been working out for 15 years and he's got his diet down and he's got what he needs to lift when, and he's on a cycle of, you know, dropping weight, gaining mass, it's totally possible for someone to look totally jacked without needing the roids.
Yeah,
And it's very fascinating when you see somebody who's just so well disciplined that can have such an amazing goal oriented physique. Um,
yeah,
and
yeah,
did I tell you about my interview with Mr. X?
yeah, yeah. You did.
Yeah. So I'm still editing it. I'm going to finish the edits this weekend and have it out real soon. But he says the same thing. He says it's, you know, you can't really judge someone based upon how they look. I mean, it's in that market, it's mostly who you know. And you got to really step out on the ledge there to ask somebody, do you use gear?
Yeah, I mean, I would take that as a great compliment. Um, no, I do not use steroids, but thank you for asking. Um, but yeah, and I would never pass judgment on anyone who chooses to use those. They're, you know, you do what you want with your body.
Now you've got a home gym, and you've been building it for how long now?
So when my wife and I found out we were gonna have our first child, I strongly considered converting to a home gym because to leave for an hour a day, you know, pretty much every day, I feel like that would foster some resentment. And so having a gym at home, I can take the baby monitors and let her sleep in. I can bring the kids into the weight room and try not to bonk them on the head with the 45-pound weights.
Sure. Put them in their little playpen.
So it's been about 3 years.
3 years. Now, do you belong to a gym on top of having your home gym, or you just have your home gym?
Nope, I do not spend any money on gym memberships anymore. I just,
Everything goes into the home gym.
That's right. I started with a squat rack and an adjustable bench, and the squat rack has a pull-up bar on it, and it also has handles for dips. And so that alone got me a fair amount of what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've added a lot of different things. My most recent purchase was like $500 worth of rubber flooring.
Right. I remember you told me, you're like, oh, I got the floors. I got that.
So exciting.
First, you were excited about the mirrors.
Oh, yeah. There was a gym going out of business in close to where we work, unfortunately. But he was selling all of his stuff. And I didn't know about this until he had sold everything except for 4 giant mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought all 4, put them in the van, and we drove them home and got home without incident. And when we closed the door, one shattered.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it turns out our windshield scraper was underneath the middle of one.
Uh-huh.
And then just that vibration from shutting the door shattered the mirror. So if you buy large mirrors, make sure they're on a flat surface with nothing underneath them. It's just a quick tip for anyone putting together a home gym. So now I have 3 huge mirrors, but they're still really good.
And you said that if you have them lined up just right, it looks like you have infinite bodies that are working out. Like
you've got like you flex and you can see like 12 sets of biceps. It's pretty sweet.
It's amazing. So when do you remember where you bought your squat rack from, or what brand it is?
It was from Shields, and it's called Marcy Pro.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they don't make it anymore.
Oh.
The adjustable bench has a little place for attachments, and just this last year I emailed them and asked, do you have like something for curls or just any attachments, because I can't find them in any stores or on your website. And they only had one ab attachment that I'm not sure what it does. So I think I have equipment that's now obsolete.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah, because I'm always curious. I'm always curious because people are saying, I bought this. They got there's it's called Power Rack. I mean, they're called a Power Rack. I guess it's the one where you can do squats. You could do just about anything in it.
Yeah, I think that's what mine's called.
It's a Power Rack. Okay, it's just that you bought it from a particular vendor that just doesn't. It was phased out.
The whatever model that Marcy made that I bought, they don't make that anymore. They have another one that looks really cool, but what am I going to do? I spent all this money on this one. I'm going to stick to it.
Sure. So does your wife use the gym at all, or is it all you?
Yeah. We've got she does some free weights, and we have a treadmill and a rower. So she uses that stuff, and she has her own workout plans that she does from like online.
Oh, you guys got a rower? Is it what kind of rower is it?
I can't remember the brand. Amazon had some special deal one day, and we bought a rower. It's a fan belt system.
Oh, so it's not the one with the water in it. It's the traditional kind.
Yeah, and it's not the $2,000. I can't remember the brand name. Anyway, it's just kind of a plain, middle ground rower.
Yeah.
You can't increase the resistance, but if you row real fast, it gets pretty hard.
Yeah. So I know those rowers. So you get a decent cardio workout. I know a guy who bought a rower, and he was like, okay, well, let's try it out. And he said he was going to die afterwards. He's like, I just did a workout, and I don't think he lasted more than 5 minutes, but I mean, it's one of those things. It's an endurance workout. You got to build up your endurance. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's cool.
And she uses there's an app called Beachbody or Beachbody. I can't remember, but it's a subscription thing. They got a whole bunch of different videos, different trainers with different routines, and so she just kind of mixes it up on that.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with. I think it's Beachbody. It's they not only do the workouts, but they also give you you have the option of getting their nutritional supplement line or whatever it is.
Oh, I did not know that.
I think if that's the thing I'm thinking of. Anyways, it could be, but you don't have to worry about that because your wife bakes stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, she's always bringing us stuff in, and not always. I shouldn't say always. I think it's like a quarterly thing. It's like once a quarter during the year she brings in something cool.
Another way to look really fit is to just keep brownies and treats close to those around you.
That's what Dr. Daniel does.
Exactly. That's where I learned it.
Is that why you started doing
Yeah,
that?
she just, she's constantly bringing treats and stuff, and everybody else is
you watch
slightly overweight, and then you're like,
anytime there's a holiday, she comes in with everything. After the weekend's over, she comes in. The break room is full of everything. And I asked her one day, I was like, "So you do a lot of baking?" She goes, "Oh no, I brought this all in because I want it out of my house. I'm gonna make you all fat." She's such a funny lady, short little lady.
Another strategy, yeah, she's hilarious.
She and Akurio, those two.
They're too much. There was a representative from Quest, a commercial lab, who we sent some things to, in my office, talking to me about, this new test that we have going, flow cytometry, that we're sending to a different vendor. Anyway, she was in there. We're having a serious conversation, and in the background, I see Dr. Daniel. I don't know what she's doing, but she's dancing or flailing or just trying to make me laugh. And I'm at first I can ignore it, and I thought it'd go away if I just didn't look directly at her. But then I eventually just started laughing in the middle of this discussion.
Was the sales rep sitting in front of you, or were they in the?
Yeah, she was in front of me, and
you were at your desk.
Yeah, exactly. So I just behind the sales rep is
in the doorway.
Dr. Daniel doing something ridiculous. It's like, this is a professional environment. This is a house of learned doctors. Stop it.
Yes, I know, right? The thing I couldn't get used to was I couldn't tell when she was being serious or when she was joking because she's so good at screwing with me.
Yeah.
Mahaffey too.
Yeah.
Well, I should say actually everybody, because Wilson's just as bad. Except with him, it's kind of a giveaway because he'll start to grin.
Yeah, and he's like essentially never serious. So
that's the other thing. Yeah, you remember that day when I gave him I pranked his office and he caught me doing it.
Yeah.
He was like, "What were you doing in there?" I'm just like, "Oh, I was just making sure you weren't." I wasn't
just checking the thermostat. I don't know.
I heard your pipes could freeze. I want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm glad we have that sort of work environment.
It is great. It's great. It's great to have that going on. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else I need to really talk about today. I'm sure you got to get to whatever you're doing, and
yeah, doctors are real busy, especially on weekends.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You got a 3-day weekend. I don't want to take any more time away from you than you've already got. So than I've already taken. So Doc, I really appreciate you taking time talking about all this. I love to just shooting the breeze with you and reminiscing about times past and talking about your gym. Because we don't really have a lot of time during the workday to really just do this. I mean, it's always on the fly. So it was really cool to sit down and not in person, but here talk to you.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you for having me.
All right, Doc. Thanks a lot. I'll enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right, you too. I'll see you Tuesday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.